Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. We are back. Who is we? Okay, I am back again. Kusema we ni kama hapa tunakuanga na creative producer na post editing producer. Na hizi kazi zote ni mimi nafanya. Anyway, I am back again with another episode. Unajua sasa ndo naangalia hizi recordings. Naona tuko episode 36. Wadau. 36. Trust you me, kuna mahali ka mental note nilikuwa nimeweka kidogo. Nilikuwa nimesema ni kama hii kitu inaishanga ikifika episode 35. Like kuna watu wanafikishanga hiyo pata alafu wanasema hapana, hii kitu haiwezi endelea hivi. Hii kitu haijafika mahali nilikuwa nataka, so acha niache kufanya hii kitu inanisumbua kichwa. But no, for me, as I said, this is something I want to be consistent in. And ladies and gentlemen, we are tumepitisha hata nusu mwaka. It has been more than 6 months of me, posting an episode every single week. I've been late like 1 or 2 times, but we're still here. So welcome back again to episode 36 of the Cordial Podcast. And of course, you're with the one and only the one and only Kang'ong'oi. And ladies and gentlemen, I have come to a conclusion. Nimekaa chini hivi wiki nikaona it is time I start segmenting this this podcast. So this is what that I've come into conclusion of. So we are going to end season 1. See Leo. We're going to end season 1 with episode 40, which is like 4 weeks away or 5 weeks away, something like that. So we're going to end season 1 with that, and I'm really happy to even say that, because I don't know, I will call it progress. I would call it wanting to be more diverse, wanting to be more productive on the things that I'm doing. And one of the things that is making me make that decision is I want to sit down in the next 4 weeks and see how my growth has been, and see how I can do better, start over again with new plans, new setup, new probably engaging content on my Instagram page, because that is something that I have been slacking in completely. I won't lie, I've been slacking in posting my snippets kidogo, and of course that has a very negative turn when it comes to someone trying to keep up the audience. So yeah, that is one of the things, because I want to sit down and actually plan this whole thing out. I want to plan how I'm going to do these things out, and probably be better, and give out content that is more strategic, better, hata kama nitaandika jokes chini zenye nitasema which doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. Planned jokes never hit. They don't hit the same as, just being natural with it. And fortunately enough, I think I've been blessed with a natural sense of humor. Acha nijichoche kidogo, because kama si hivyo ungekuwa hapo ukisikiliza ama namna gani, my friend? Kwa hivyo in season 2 tumetenga bilioni kama 3 hivi. Bilioni 3 ya kutenga nayo tumetenga. But and just to answer one question, I'm not taking a break. No. Tutamalizia episode 40 season 1 next. The other week will be like boom, season 2, and we're back. Kitu kama hiyo. Mi sitaki ati kuchukua break. Hizo break mtu anachukuanga alafu unajipata ulisahau kitu, and I don't want to slack in any kind of way. I just want to take the step and move as direct as possible. So ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to jump in straight to how my week has been. My week has been fine. I've loved this week. Manze, kwanza leo nimevaa jazi ya Manchester. Sisi tunawafungulia weekend. Wale watu wa kuangalia mpira, sisi ndio tunawafungulia weekendi. the great Manchester United, na nimevaa jezi hii t-shirt ni ya white, but anyway, so I've been sitting here wondering if I should get the red home jersey, the blue away jersey, or the white third kit. Jamani, Mungu anibariki na pesa tu nichukue tu zote juu saa hii niko kwa shida kubwa sana ya kuchagua, because those kits are fire. Na wewe kama uko hapa and you're a lady na unasemanga uko na mtu na hujamnunu ni watu bana. But anyway, no, I'm going to get myself because because there is no one who has claimed me, so basically no. But anyway, I'll never put that responsibility on my woman, by the way. Ati anunulie jazi hapana, nunua vitu zingine bana. Jazi ni yangu. do not come close to my obligations. But anyway, my week has been fine. I hope yours has been fine as well. And the sun is out kidogo, baridi asubuhi, jua mchana. Ndio global warming yenyewe walikuwa naongelelea manini. So before I even lose track, because I had actually planned out this episode vizuri, lakini nikianza stories za jaba na za hekaya hapa za bunuasi, tutashinda hapa na it won't serve the purpose that I set out for this particular this particular episode. So in the next three nasikia vizuri. The next 3 episodes starting from today, I am going to divide it into 3. It's a topic that is a long topic, and I want to divide it into 3. The last time I divided a topic this much was a couple of months ago, and I loved the experience, so I decided why not do it as the last beats, the last beats of episode of season 1, jamani. Why not do that? So the title will be the human kijana jamani. Kwani nimeongea Kikuyu aje? Nimeongea Kikuyu sana hii wiki, but anyway, so the title will be the human blueprint, the human blueprint. Now of course kusikia kitu kama hiyo ni basically something that deals with how humans are made or how humans work, that common tendency of how we basically work in everything that we do. Na huko kuna makelele salale. So I'm sorry I had to take a break kidogo, kulikuwa na lawn mower iko hapa karibu na ilikuwa napiga makelele sana. But anyway, so as I've said, our topic for the next 3 weeks will be the human blueprint, and I will segment it into 3 parts. So the first one will be cognitive biases, which we'll talk about today, and then next week will be behavioral patterns that we have, and then we'll have segment 3, emotional patterns. And basically I had the idea that I had was to talk about patterns and how we and how we create patterns in our lives, but I decided to dive a little bit more deeper and do a bit of research and trying to understand if I can get information that goes directly into what I wanted to talk about. And I found of these 3 these 3 segments and setting it apart into 3. And even as I was thinking of the idea that I had of patterns, unajua mtu anakaanga chini hata unafikiria kidogo jokes zenye utapeana ukianza episode. And I was thinking of saying ati patterns are defining patterns, and I was going to say patterns are the things that you see on your curtains, at home, on that kind of cloth that you like. There is a pattern that is always there. If you look at even threaded things, there is a pattern that is always there, and you notice it because it is makelele huku. But anyway, as I was saying, you recognize these patterns, you see them from the start to the end, and you realize that it has been used this particular way for it to turn out into this one whole thing. Nilikuwa nilete kama joke, but imekuwa serious kidogo. But anyway, jamani. So in this episode we are going to explore the intriguing patterns that shape our thoughts, behaviors and emotions, because honestly everything starts in your head. Those thoughts that you have, and you start doing them, you start acting out your thoughts. They become behaviors after a bit of time, and then there's the emotional part of all these things. So we're going to go straight into segment 1, which is cognitive biases. And when you hear of the name cognitive, of course ni kitu inaguza akili tu. Nikona nimeshikona kakitu kwa kona, sijui ni nini. But anyway, so when you hear of cognitive, of course it's your mental abilities. It basically talks about your mental abilities, how your mental structure works. And when you hear of the word bias or biases, which is in plenty or in plural, biases are things that you have a tendency to look for, to agree with. Yani you've closed off everything else. You're not open-minded as much when it comes to the biases that you have, So biases are things that you believe in, and you do not really want to open up yourself to other ideas and to how things work in that particular thing. So when we're talking about cognitive biases, cognitive biases, nime-explain kitu mzuri hapo. I hope umeshika. Imekuwa lecture. So first of all, you have to realize this is something that we all experience. We have biases. These cognitive biases inside us. Trust you me, we have them. And somebody might want to explain them as mental shortcuts that can lead to errors in how we think. Sometimes they lead to that, And somebody else might try and even expound it and say it is like the autopilot of our brains, Autopilot. And sometimes, often, they are helpful kabisa, zinakusaidia. Like unajipata there are things or there are biases that you have about things that actually help you out. But there are sometimes it leads us astray completely. And I would love to explain just a bit of it, because all these things come from human experience, from when you're a child to right now, if you're a grown up or you're a teenager or you're just starting out adulthood. All these things come from experiences, how you've seen situations in life happen and you've recognized they happen in this way, and you tried out to react this way, and you saw the responses this way, and you see it again and again and again, and then now you kind of form a cheat code in your head. Let's just call it a cheat code, yeah? So you kind of form these cheat codes in your head. When that situation comes in, then you're like, wow, I remember this situation and I'm going to handle it this way because this is how I know it works for me. This is how I have experienced it, and this is how I'm going to actually work around it. So when we call it autopilot, it's basically that. Like, you're so used to it to a point where you don't need to think much about it. You do not need to think about it. And unajaribu kutafuta experience moja yenye ita make sense. Like, unajua kuna venye, do you ever, by the way, let me just ask you this. Let's go into a mental trance kidogo. Do you sometimes, when you wake up to, let's say you have a job, or the time you had a job or something that you're doing consistently. Jamani, kwani homa inataka kunimaliza. Something that you're doing consistently. Do you ever sit down after doing it for like probably a month and you try to figure out how your day works? How you carry out your day normally, and you realize that there is always a pattern that you use. Either you wake up, take a shower, then take breakfast, and then, brush your teeth, head out. Or you wake up, eat, brush your teeth, take a shower, all these things, how you handle those patterns. And then you realize that your head or your mental capacity puts that as a pattern once you've done it several times, and there are times probably because of different situations where you find yourself not doing something, and when you skip it, you just go directly to the thing that is next on that list in the pattern of how you do things. Like for me, I wake up, take a shower, prepare my what do you call it, sitaita breakfast, jumi na bebanga tu chai natoka, so I prepare my tea, brush my teeth, and then I head out. I go home. And I go to work. So tuseme by any bad luck niamke kaa nimechelewa, so I'll take a shower, prepare my tea, and then nitatoka juu niko na haraka, akili yangu inaniambia uko na haraka, nitatoka nisahau kufanya nini, kubrush my teeth. Now you see, because I've skipped something, but I've gone straight to what was next. Now these are the patterns that we're talking about. That is how your mental state works. Like mi sitaki kupeana examples za relationships. Sasa hizo ni vitu ingine zitaleta topic ingine away from what we are trying to talk about, because as I was looking for even examples, there's one that says there's a confirmation bias that we have mentally. People have a confirmation bias, and this is the tendency to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs. Now, if you're one that believes that women are bad, or men are dogs, do you ever realize that when you have this kind of perspectives in life, the only information or the only, let's say, content that you seek out are always the type that will actually confirm these things, like they will be in support of these things, because you're trying to actually form a fortitude with these beliefs that you have. You're trying to make it stand out that this is what I believe in, and I can give you examples of what you believe in. So you will have that bias that women are bad. You will have that bias that men are dogs. Men are always lying. You will have all those biases as long as everything that you're trying to get out in this world is information that actually supports that belief. And so that is one example that we have a confirmation bias. Like, even if you're trying to relationships, even if you're trying to hate a particular person, not even hate or dislike a person. Hate is a really strong word, but if you're trying to dislike a particular person and you've made it clear to your head that I want to believe that I hate this person or I dislike this person, trust me, you will look for information that will make you hate this person. You won't look at it from any other way. It will only be from that kind of angle. Everything that you do or everything that the other person does for you, you will always look at for that one particular belief that you have, that I want to dislike you, so everything that you do will be something that I dislike, whether it is that or not. Yani utatafuta tu hiyo, mnanishika venye nasema. Anyway, that's confirmation bias. And then there was another kind of bias that I will call, but this is what I came to read about, and it's a really tough word to pronounce, but inajita availability heuristic. So heuristic is just to pronounce it, is HEURISTIC, and a heuristic is unasikia kai wadau, mimi nikishika hii kizungu nitasahau hata Kiswahili. But anyway, as I was saying, heuristics are mental shortcuts for solving problems in a quick way that delivers a result that is sufficient enough to be useful in the given time constraints. And unaona hapo mwisho imemalizia na to be useful and it is sufficient enough in the given time constant. That means it is something that your head works out fast. Like it's a solution that is needed chap. So it is always based on the biases that you have. All the things that the beliefs that you have are based on this particular thing. So the availability of those shortcuts in your head that you've made, and they're used for judging the likelihoods of events based on how easily examples can come to mind. They're used for judging the likelihood of events based on how easily examples come to mind. It's like how our parents were describing maandamano, and they're like, people will just die, you people will just be killed, there's no need of going out. It's because the likelihood of the events that they've seen other maandamanos happening, people will always die. You get? So this is their mental shortcuts of them telling you, we know the start of these things, we know how it goes, and we know the end results of these things. And these heuristics are actually bad, because even the confirmation bias, it just proves that each and every one of us is blinded by these things. And it is actually tough, because in some way it ruins your whole experience as a human. It ruins you not becoming open enough for new information. It ruins you actually appreciating how life works out for other people. It ruins all these experiences that you need to experience so that you can appreciate people, you can value people, you can value also those experiences individually, And it is quite unfortunate that these things happen. It is quite unfortunate that even some people cannot move on from some beliefs that they have, and you can just see them not even wanting or have the slightest of interest to gain more information, to have an open mind into listening to people, and they're only there just to reply to people and not really have, involve people in communication, in conversations. And it is really hard, it is really tough, and it is really disappointing when you see such people acting out that way. And however much, even personally, that I'm coming to this understanding, you also realize that there are things that you believe in, and you've been in that space where you do not want to change your mind. Now, I will give you one solution. For me, there are beliefs that I have that I know I have to stand firm on, and I know that there are principles that I need to hold on, however much I'm not perfect, But in my journey as just a normal person, or a teenager, or a 20-year-old, I've always been strict, so much to a point where I was not open to listening to people. And after I got to campus, funny enough, is when I began becoming open to listening to people, open to learning how people work, and seeing how people handle their conversations, seeing how people handle their relationships, and just how people work mentally, physically, and even emotionally. And that aspect of just switching from becoming so closed off to a point where now I am open, because I'll give you an example. For a long time, I've been trying as much as possible to cut conversations with women. When I was younger, kwanza primary, ati nakalishwa na dem, hapana, tunasaidiana nini? Mimi sitaki kuongelesha hiyo gender. High school, the same way, running away from any kind of conversation that was said. And I look at it from now, because of course I changed my mind. So I look at it and I'm like, to some point, there's some experiences that I missed out. I am not saying that I would love to go back and and have such experiences, but the experiences I should have had at that particular time, which would have been better, because I would have understood women better. Some stories are jabba, but anyway, I'm just saying, the experiences that are very, very vital for a person when you're growing up. So I had to change that kind of mindset for me to actually move forward with life, for me to have the experiences that I've had since the change of mind. And it takes time to actually be open. It takes time for you to actually say, yes, I am open to having these kinds of conversation, having these kinds of experiences. It takes time, because even right now there are things that I'm trying to open up to, because where I'm at in life, there are situations that are coming about that are different from how I would have expected life to be for myself. And you just come and realize, wow, you need to be open enough to let the situation know, not even a person, let the situation know that you have your own principles, but being open enough for you to see everything that happens around that situation that is happening to you, or being in that situation that you're in, that experience that you're having at that particular moment. Being open enough for you to learn everything that you're supposed to learn in an experience or in a situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come to understand these biases, when you come to actually sit down and recognize and accept that you have some sort of biases in your in your mental space, they can help us make more informed decisions and be more open-minded. You can make a decision and you will see the results and you're like, wow, I was actually doing the right thing. And there are times you will make a decision and you'll realize, I should have been more open to understanding this other person, more open into understanding this situation, and maybe the results would have been better. And this is actually funny. This is funny because now we are heading into the 27th minute, and I'm here and I'm sitting, I'm like, wow, kumbe naweza yap, kumbe naweza ongea. But anyway, so as I've said, we are going to conclude with that understanding these biases can help us make more informed decisions and be more open-minded. And I think, mambo ya kuwa open-minded, si kila kitu, but there are things that you need to be open-minded on, especially on having conversations with people. Conversations really shape our thoughts, and we really need to have conversations with everyone so that you can understand how they think, and how they talk. However much you might not like it or you might love it, it's still an experience, it's still a learning process. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of episode 36, and I'm proud to end segment 1 of cognitive biases. If you've enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed any bit of it, you can share to your friends, share to that group chat that you're keeping secret or even share to your parents. Hii kitu ni ya Gen Z, tafadhali msipatie millennial wewe. But anyway, it has been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Let's meet next episode when we talk about behavioral patterns. The idea was on patterns. So next week we are talking about behavioral patterns, and I hope it will be as successful as this one. So see you next Saturday. It has been a pleasure. Me as always. Kang'ong'oi. And yeah, we are out.